in Whova. We'll leave time at the end to answer those questions and also to rate the session before you leave so that Anita can get feedback, as well as you'll be entered into a raffle. So Dr. Jindal, who's currently the Senior Director of Engineering at VMware, has held previous relationships in sales and leadership roles at several companies. Anita received the 2019 Timmy Award for Best Technical Manager in the Bay Area and the IGD One to Watch Award just last year. In her talk today, Anita will share with you insights from her own personal journey and positioning yourself for success. With that, it's all yours, Anita.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you for having me today. I want to share with you the framework on positioning yourself for success. I started my journey as an engineer and progressed into leadership roles. As I progressed along my career path, I experimented, learned, and developed insights along the way. I would like to share some of these learnings with you today. Studies show that 4 times as many women compared to men were dropped out of workspace during COVID. The lack of daycare and dealing with school closures led to women dealing with crisis and having to juggle work and home. Therefore, it becomes important for women as we engage in any conversations at work while we're exploring job opportunities that we highlight our accomplishments. Today, I will talk about 5 principles on how you can project your accomplishments and achieve an effective outcome. Tip number 1, differentiate. What is your uniqueness? How do you differentiate yourselves from others? Your differentiation and uniqueness is your impact at work. It's the examples of how you worked across teams, influenced and collaborated across boundaries for delivering complex projects. It's about your resiliency in learning new technologies and delivering innovative solutions. It's about you developing yourself and developing others and paying it forward. Today, recruiters use LinkedIn as a job board for discovering candidates. When I'm recruiting in my own organization, I receive LinkedIn profiles of the candidates from the recruiters. And based on the candidates that I'm interested in, they get in touch with the candidates. Therefore, think about highlighting your differentiation and uniqueness as part of your LinkedIn profile to be discovered and to be noticed. I personally received quite a few opportunities as a contact through LinkedIn. Due to my interest in women in technology, I had an opportunity to be a speaker and panelist to share my career path and my experiences with women through different women in technology forums. In one instance, I was invited to talk about building high performance teams due to my experience in building teams and receiving the Best Technical Manager Award. The IEEE Young Chapter of Puerto Rico, yes, Puerto Rico, discovered me through LinkedIn and contacted me to give a seminar on big data due to my experience in leading and building platforms in big data space. In last few years, some of my opportunities in my career came as an initial contact through LinkedIn. Therefore, take steps to highlight your uniqueness, the differentiation, which is your impacts and accomplishments as part of your LinkedIn profile. This will enable you to be discovered for job opportunities. And this will also enable you to be discovered for sharing your expertise with others. Number 2, build your personal brand. So what is a personal brand and how do you build your personal brand? When I started in the industry, there was a very well-known term called the elevator pitch. It was a 60-second pitch of what would you tell an executive if you happen to meet them in an elevator. There wasn't much guidance on how to put it together. A lot of us used to talk about what we were currently working on or what our strengths were, but there wasn't a whole lot of information on how to put together this elevator pitch. It was also recommended that women brag about their accomplishments. And I felt very uncomfortable bragging about my accomplishments. And later on realized that I'm not alone feeling that way. There are quite a few women who don't like to brag about their accomplishments. I used to keep my heads down, building products, leading teams to deliver products, but I was very uncomfortable bragging about it or selling it. In the last decade, a new term called the personal brand has been defined. It's not about what you're currently working on. It's about your awesomeness. It's about you as a person. It's about what are you good at? What do you have to offer to others? How do you differentiate yourself from others? And these are the tips, or these are some of the attributes you need to think about when you're putting together your personal brand. When you engage in any conversation, or you're talking to any of your colleagues or at work or externally or while exploring job opportunities or going for an interview, use your personal brand to talk about yourself. And in your personal brand, highlight your uniqueness, highlight your impact at your work, the differentiation, so that the people can understand your uniqueness and what you have to offer. As people understand your personal brand, they will understand your abilities, they will develop a trust in your abilities, and they will start approaching you to tap into your expertise and help. This will also open new areas and widen your network, as these same people will start giving you reference to other people who are looking for the similar expertise, and your introduction will be given to other people so that they can tap into your expertise. Therefore, using your personal brand as part of each and every conversation and professional interactions will lead to you in growing your network. It will enable you to build your board of trusted advisors, and it may also give you leads for your future opportunities and roles. Tip number 3, building confidence. It is well known that women look for 100% match on the job descriptions before they consider applying for it. Even if they have relevant skills, unless there's a 100% match, they do not apply for those jobs. Therefore, if you have foundational skills, but are interested in learning a new domain or growing in a new area, consider applying for that opportunity. Think of the examples on your resiliency in learning new technologies, your resiliency in building products in new areas and delivering new products to strengthen the candidacy for the role. Building confidence in communication is critical to be able to articulate our abilities and thoughts with authenticity. As I grew in the leadership roles and leadership journey, it became important for me to highlight the success, the contributions, and the accomplishments of my teams and organizations to the senior leadership and executives. I used to experience a pacing heart whenever I had to present or engage in a conversation with the executives or the senior leadership. I joined Toastmasters to build the confidence in communication and to control my pacing heart. Toastmasters gave me a foundation to hone my public speaking skills and to be able to articulate my thoughts and my ideas with confidence. Now, I do not give up on any speaking opportunity. Another skill which is very important is being able to effectively articulate the right level of information depending on the audience. While engineers are interested in low-level details, our executives or senior leadership is interested in the strategy, the plans, the options. Therefore, we have to be able to tailor our communication based on the audience for maximum engagement. We have to be able to build effective communication skills so that we can go deep down into the low-level detailed conversations with our engineers. But at the same time, we should be able to pull ourselves up to synthesize this information for engaging in conversation with our executives. Sometimes we might encounter areas which are unfamiliar or new. In these situations, present your reasoning on how you might go about solving a problem. This demonstrates your agility in problem solving and dealing with unfamiliar situations. Take steps to hone your communication skills, build skills to articulate the information at the right level, succinctly based on the audience, and engage confidently in any conversation. Number 4, first impressions. We always hear that first impressions lead to forming long-term perceptions. The way we interact, the way we communicate with our colleagues, with others, leads us to forming the relationships at work, home, or within the community. While looking for a job, your resume is your first impression. It is a tool that will get you that first phone screen. Over years, I have reviewed resumes of my mentees, and the common mistake made was including a laundry list of their day-to-day activities in the resume. These women were very modest in illustrating or highlighting their impact and accomplishments. Some of them were award winners, others had generated revenue for their company, but they buried it deep down into the laundry list. The way we highlight our uniqueness, impact, and differentiation in the resume is very important. Your resume needs to talk about your impact, your results, your accomplishments, your resiliency in learning new areas. Your resume needs to be able to convey your personality and your abilities to the hiring manager in the short amount of time. Ask yourself, was the product that I built first within the company? Did I learn new technologies and deal with complexity while delivering products? And did I bring innovation as part of building the product? Did I work across organizations for delivering product on time, within time and budget? Did this product lead to acquiring new customers for my company? Use some of these areas to structure your resume and to highlight your impact, accomplishments, and results. Your resume should not be treated as a tool for listing facts. Instead, we need to use the resume for highlighting our differentiation and uniqueness, because this is the mechanism by which you will get that first phone screen. Number 5, achieving success. Success is different for each individual. For some, it's about getting that dream job or a well-deserved promotion. For others, it's about achieving an important milestone at work, home, in education, or within life. For me personally, success last year came in 2 forms. I was able to accomplish my dream trip to Antarctica and brave a polar plunge. And this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. And the second, I started my new role at VMware last year. And VMware was a company that I always wanted to work for. Now, looking forward, I have a goal that someday I want to be able to visit to North Pole while progressing along my career path. When looking for a job or interviewing for a job, success is about passing that first phone screen and then a series of interviews. While preparing for an interview for a job, take time to research the company and the company's culture as well as its products. It will enable you to understand whether you will be excited to be part of the company culture. Understanding about the products will enable you to articulate why you're the best person for that particular job, group, or the company. As you engage in the interview, include specific examples on your impact to the company. And in these examples, include stories on how you worked within the teams or collaborated across teams for delivering products. Talk about what new technologies you learned and what kind of innovation you brought into the product. Talk about the complexity that you dealt with while building the product. Include specific tangible examples to demonstrate these facts. Illustrate how you have been mentoring and coaching others and building next set of leaders. Use tangible examples as throughout your interview process to demonstrate your resiliency, your impact, as well as you growing the next set of leaders. Often, as part of interview, we get asked a question on what is our area of development or a weakness, and we struggle to answer that. Turn the spotlight on your area of development you have been working on. This shows your openness and your self-drive for personal development. For me personally, as I moved along my career journey, I received feedback for my areas of development. This enabled me to grow personally. And then over time, I turned these areas of development into my strengths. I was an engineer, a person who was a deep technical person. I learned to transition from being a deep technical individual to be able to define strategy, leading teams, building teams, and delivering products. I developed skills to engage effectively in communication with the engineers and with the senior leadership. A few years ago, I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to work on improving my confidence in communication and hone my public speaking skills. I use some of these examples to demonstrate my openness to continuous learning and self-development. The 5 principles that I outlined today as part of this talk, they can be used in any setting. And I thank you for having me today and allowing me to share the parts of my framework with you today. The 5 tips that I outlined: differentiate your personal brand, build confidence, first impressions, achieving success, are the ones that I learned along my career journey. I encourage you to take the ones that are most meaningful for you along your own career path and future endeavors. Enjoy, have fun, and make wonderful memories along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you. We do have time for a couple of questions, and we have a few that have come in. One is interesting because it was also mentioned in the chat about being not appear like you're bragging when you do some of these things? How do you not appear braggadocious?
Yeah. So that's why this is something like I talked about. Even I am uncomfortable talking about my accomplishments and bragging. And when we talk about, so that's where we need to think about our personal brand. We need to think about our uniqueness, our differentiation. Why would people come to us? Is there certain kind of an expertise that we have? Is there a certain area that we can help in people? So we have to think about how we build our personal brand so that when we talk to other people, we can talk about our impact, accomplishments, and what we can offer to them so that they can understand our abilities. So it's much more than what we are currently working on. So I would really suggest people to start thinking in terms of personal brand and start using that as part of each and every conversation.
Okay, I'll do that. The other question that we had was about keeping your focus during all of this process as you move through your successful career. How do you keep your focus?
Yeah. So keeping it goes back to prioritization. And when we are working on projects, there also we look at how do we keep our focus and prioritize things. And as part of our career journey as well, there will be a lot of things that we could do. So we have to prioritize and see what's really important. And it can come with the definition of a goal. Is there a goal that we want to achieve? And if we want to achieve a certain goal, how do we go about achieving that? And if there are certain areas that we want to work on, do they contribute to that goal? So that could help us focus as we are moving along our career journey to focus our efforts and focus on what we want to be working on.
Well, I thank you. That brings us pretty close to the end of our session. I wanted to just remind everybody also before they leave to rate the session so we can give great feedback back to Anita. I think that's something that you would want, right, Dr.
Yes,
Jindal? Yeah.
definitely. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Celine. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, how are you?